I'm gonna say this straight up. Any American, South Africa is the best country on earth. And you can't tell me otherwise. Like, just look how beautiful this place is. Like, you can't tell me otherwise. South Africa is the best place on earth.
Here are 3 things I miss so much about South Africa. I've been living here for about 7 months now. So the first thing is South African food. I miss our food so much. I feel that no other country has as good food as we do. That's just my opinion.
Oh my, South Africa has the most delicious cuisine in Africa and different varieties of food you can ever think of. Foreigners have different reasons why they love South Africa so much, and these foreigners share the reasons why South Africa keep remaining the best country in the whole world and the relationship between South Africa and Nigerians. Let's take a look at these videos, and please do not forget to like the video, share and subscribe.
Right now, South Africa is the focus of the media all around the world, and it is in a chaotic state. However, let me tell you why what you see isn't necessarily what you assume, and why South Africa is one of the best countries on the planet. International media outlets always display South Africa as a place that is completely divided. And whilst there is definitely division in a place like South Africa, it is not completely true. In fact, if you go to areas like Cape Town and various other parts of South Africa, you will see some of the least divided places in your life. I've been to South Africa 11 times as an English white man, and I've never had a problem once. In fact, quite the opposite. I've been to 35 countries, and in some of those countries I've been met with hostility, for example, Morocco. But in South Africa, it is not like this. Yes, if you walk into a township in the middle of the night wearing gold and jewelry, you're going to get robbed, but that's just logic. That's like any country in the world. When you go to one of the more dangerous areas, you have a risk. But in reality, South Africa is what you make of it. If you go into the dangerous areas and risk your safety, then that is on you, and you don't really have a right to judge the country fully. Because so many areas in South Africa, for example, Camps Bay and various other areas in Cape Town, are so welcoming, and I've never felt more welcome by the people. And in South Africa, you have 4 different demographics. You have white, black, Indian, and a group called coloured, which is basically a mix of all 3. And I met every single type of person you could meet in South Africa, and they were all welcoming, not a single bad soul. Often when people go traveling, they remember the beaches, the nature, the buildings, everything like that. But in reality, what really makes a country and what makes you want to go back is the people. And the people in South Africa are the nicest I've ever met, I would say, along with Thai and Vietnamese people. And while South Africa has loads of languages, everybody practically speaks English. So you're not going to have a problem communicating. And everybody wants to communicate with you. I said this in one of my older videos. If you walk down the street in South Africa, you give somebody a head nod. You say, hello, how are you? You doing all right? How's your day? In the UK, where I live, you do not do that. You're a weirdo if you do that. And that is such a negative way to live.
South Africa and Nigeria have a very complicated relationship. Complicated history, tension, rivalry, and even moments of pure, outright hostility. And on today's video, guys, I really want to talk about or even ask a question about what about the children that are born out of these 2 races? Because they are forced to be in a world that forces them to pick a side, but also to take so much abuse from not just other children, but also from grown-ups as well. A few weeks ago, I was watching a live from one of the trending stories. I think South Africans will probably have an idea who I'm talking about, and maybe some other Nigerians, because I saw that there were some other Nigerians that have started commenting on the story. The lady by Dr. Dada, I don't know if she's still, I saw a video that she's changing her surname to Dr. Ndaba, her maiden name, but Dr. Dada, where she mentioned how she was raising 2 Nigerian children. I can't remember the context of the story, but when I saw the comments on that video, I said by grown-ups talking, making comments like that about children who are innocent just because their father is a Nigerian really, really broke my heart, and it hit home for me. I've been living abroad out of South Africa for the longest time, half of my adulthood. I'm now married and I've got children. My children are half South African and half Chinese. And it hit home because as a foreigner myself, I've been in situations where I've experienced racism, xenophobia. I've been called kwere kwere, and I can take it because I'm an adult, you know. But I don't know how I will feel if the abuse that I get as a grown person will go towards my kids, the children, the innocent. And the saddest part of it all, the people that are pushing on the hate, they grown as people, like they adults. You know, no wonder some children in school are calling other children, you know, names like foreigners, amakwerekwere, outcast, and all these different names because they learn from adults. Like, when do we stop and think these are children? They don't deserve to be called names. You know, yes, they are born between two foreign parents, one being a South African, the other one being a Nigerian. In my case, one being a South African and the other one being Chinese. But they didn't ask that for themselves. You know, I've been vocal about thinking about going back home, returning to South Africa. Through and through, I'm Zulu, you know. But these videos or these comments that I've been seeing on children that are born from being half South African and half Nigerian, they leave me questioning if I'm making the right decision moving my kids to South Africa. And I know deep down, you know, my kids are probably not going to be accepted fully as Zulus. But who are you to take that part from them? Because they are half Zulus. They half of me. So that means you overwriting, you know, who they are. I need to work on that as a parent to teach my kid, Uguti, you are half Zulu. This is who you are. Culturally, this is how Zulus behave or what we do. This is how we speak. But if I'm going to have other people treating them like they don't matter, like they are pieces of, I don't know, just because their dad is not Zulu, I don't think it's fair. And as society, we need to look deep down in our hearts and work it out. Where is all this hate for children coming from? Because, like I said, a grown-ass person, an adult, can be able to deal with the hate, with being called kwere kwere, you know, but I can't imagine my kids being in South Africa, which I know is something that's going to happen, and have people, you know, calling them names like Ching Chong. You know, it doesn't matter if it's coming from a place of you are joking, but if they're my kids, I don't agree with that. And I don't agree with the kids. There's just so much hate, guys, going on. There is just so much hate. And I know there's a lot of children in South Africa that are born between these two nations, South Africans and Nigerians. And I've seen some stories, you know, other people talking about how they're being treated in the community. And the children are there now. We can't discard them. You can't take away the fact that they are half South African. I'm just going to say this as a South African to other South Africans. I don't know how they'll be treated when they go to Nigeria, but I'm going to speak on the side where I've seen more hate and hostility towards the children. Oh yeah, because your kids, some people went even to the extent like, who's going to want you now? With 2 children that are born out of a Nigerian. That's pure evil. That is pure evil. And, I've been following now Dr. Dada Eliwe for a while. I've been watching her videos and I can see she is a confident lady. She's able to take the criticism that comes with being having been married to a Nigerian, all the stuff she went through. She's able to respond to people, but I don't think she is ready to deal or to even defend things that are said by her children, because they shouldn't even be said, those things, because these are children. Just because they're born out of like their dad being a Nigerian and people thinking, okay, what he's done and wada. It's not fair, guys. It's not fair. As adults, we can take your cruelty. We can take your hostility. We can take the mean words because we're adults. We can deal with them. We've been in these situations so many times. But imagine a 5-year-old, a 10-year-old, a 15-year-old being bullied like that online. We need to stop. We need to stop this bullying. Like South Africans, you are better than this. You are better than this. And you cannot say, oh, sasingamthumanga, or sasingamthumanga ukuthi niyoshada nama foreigner. Life doesn't work like that. A heart wants what it wants. So you cannot, just because when you're not in that position, come out then and start saying such things. Do better.
This lady actually spoke a lot about the relationship between South Africans and Nigerians and how it's going to affect the children between these 2 nations. Of course, we all know that a lot of Nigerians are getting married to South Africans, and also a lot of South Africans are also getting married to Nigerians. When I listen to what she's saying, I felt it. I sit down and analyze it. What will become of the children they are giving birth to? I really wish that we'll get to that point that we'll all understand ourselves and live in harmony, knowing that South Africans and Nigerians, we always fight a lot. Yes, I know a lot of Nigerians, when they visit South Africa, they commit a lot of atrocity, don't keep to the rules and regulations. When they go there, they do a lot of things that we are not proud of. In fact, not only in South Africa, all over the world right now, people do not want Nigerians in their country. But in all of this, I wish that we can get to a point where we can both understand ourselves and live in peace and harmony. I would also love to see your thoughts on the comment section of what you also think of this video. And please, at this point, if you have not liked the video, please do more by liking the video and don't forget to share so that more people can see this video. And please, if this is the first time you're coming across this channel, please do not make it your last by subscribing. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for always coming back to the channel, and I will see you in my next video. Bye for now and stay blessed.